Greetings, 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 and welcome again to yet another snapshot. It's the home of the 15-minute selfie with Marilyn Green. You know me, the hostess with the mostest. And snapshot is where you get to do only you. All right. So if you're out there and you want to do only you, it's not a problem. Contact me, text me, call me. I would love to have you as my guest. And this show today, I really want you to share, tag a friend, share, tag a friend, tag a friend. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up my guest. And before she comes up, I want to say that she's a very talented artist, well-rounded. Um, did not know her, but talked a little bit with her behind the scenes, and she is just a delightful, great-spirited woman. I appreciate her. So I'm gonna bring up Paulette Sankofa. She is a painter, fabric, and mixed media artist. So let me bring her up. I'm gonna do it. Hello there, Paulette. How are you?
Hi, how you doing, Marilyn?
You know I'm doing it, girl. I'm doing it.
Yeah,
Okay.
you are.
I'm trying to do it. So I hope all is well with you. And I'm excited to have you on here because I like what you do. I'm even liking the colors, the vibrancy of the colors that are behind you will
Oh
tell
yeah.
you everything about you. All right. Now, I asked her earlier, everybody out there in social media land, about a mixed media artist. And tell us a little bit more about that because that is truly exciting that you can take anything because it takes some thoughts to just say, I know this should go here, this should go there, the textures and things like that.
hmm
How do you do all this?
Well, mixed media artists, one don't put a whole lot of limitations on themselves in general.
Oh,
So I take. I grew up in a world of making something out of nothing,
yeah.
and so that's kind of the back door into being a mixed media artist. Actually, in school, I had a minor in art history,
Okay.
and so I was interested in all types of different art and growing up, I got to explore a lot. I grew up in a household where my mom was a union organizer in the garment industry, so she introduced me to fabric. And my aunts were seamstresses, so I was spending a lot of time around lots and lots and lots of fabric. I would go to my aunt Irene, I used to call Aunt Reenie. I'd go to her house and get up into the piles of fabric. I mean, this stuff was as tall as me, and I could get up in there and touch the fabric and feel it and look at it. And so that encouraged me to try and experiment with different things using buttons, beads, paint, um, anything that I wanted to put together to create something that came from my mind and my spirit. Could put together. When we talked earlier, I mentioned the fact that I would paint on my walls at home.
All right. She loves you. She loves some
She loved
Paulette.
me
She loves
because
you.
she started putting stuff on the walls so that I have something to put my little creations on. But she never discouraged my creativity. And growing up with her, I mean, she decorated all the food. I mean, you have faces on your pancakes, and
Oh, wow.
people would come to our house. They're like, "What? Doesn't your mama make just regular tuna fish or something? Why you gotta have the fish shaped bread? No,
Ah,
we just have some regular Wonder Bread. Nope, not in this
right.
house. So I grew up around people who encouraged my creativity, and so mixed media. I know a lot of mixed media artists now, and using found objects is really important.
Okay, all right, that's nice. That's nice. I really do I'm serious about that because to me, I mean, I am a seamstress. I mean, no people out there saying, no, Marilyn, you don't do that. I do. I do know how to sew. I do have a trophy in sewing and
All
cooking
right,
for everybody that want to start the Joan and says she can't cook, she can't sew. Okay, listen, I can cook and I can sew. Ask my
all right.
granddaughters. Ask my granddaughters. But anyway, so I'm so happy to have you on, and we're going to be talking about your upcoming book launch and celebration. I'm excited about that. So I'm going to bring it up here. Let me add it to the stage of with your book. Okay, let's talk about the book. And then I'm going to show you guys where she's going to be celebrating and why you want to be a part of it and all those of the process. So here is the book. And we talk about mixed media already, but just looking at the cover alone is telling me a whole bunch of different things. And how I see the St. Louis Arch over there. You know, geographically, you may be standing on my side of the river looking over there from Illinois to Missouri. And so, how did you come up with this cover? Did you design this cover?
Actually, I have a graphic artist that designed the cover, but the painting that's the bottom portion of the cover was
Uh-huh.
done by a dear friend and mixed media artist, uh,
Ah,
Andrea Charisma Hughes. She was a Visionary Award winner of, I believe, 2023.
mm-hmm.
And so I told her the concept that I had for the cover of the book, that I wanted to celebrate our African culture, but also indicate St. Louis. And that sculpture to the right, real quickly, was is like an image of a sculpture I actually own. And it's a woman with a wooden spoon from West Africa. It's about 5 or 6 feet tall. And in West
Hmm.
Africa, in this particular culture, in Sankofa culture, a woman with a wooden spoon is very similar to a person having a royalty staff, because you're known for your hospitality and your
Oh,
culinary talents. And so I wanted that on there because when I was growing up, my mother always used to say every woman should have a wooden spoon.
okay.
And maybe some other time we'll talk about how I actually came about having owning that particular sculpture. But as I said, a friend of mine, Michael Evans, is the graphic artist that I've been working with for years on projects. And I said, Michael, we need to figure out a way to incorporate this. And he came up with the cover. And and you can see as a watermark in the background, it's actually an image of one of the quilts that's in the book.
Oh, okay. So, and also, let me ask you this. No, let me say this. I do have a wooden spoon. So, for those people who think I can't cook or whatever and stuff, I got a wooden spoon. I also bake. Okay. So,
Okay.
I do have a wooden spoon, but that's an interesting story. We do need to meet and talk about that more. But I love this. You know, the cover alone will just make my mind start to wonder. Okay, so what is this for, and what does this mean? This cover
Mhm.
alone is a whole story,
A whole story.
by itself. And I'm like, wow.
And
So,
it's not a flat image. That face is done with Andrea molded that from polymer clay, so it's a raised image, and so are the
oh,
baskets and all the little vegetables and fruit.
really? Wow. Okay, and so I see the quilting, and everybody knows what a quilt looks like, just about. But this is a special book about quilting and I always get it wrong. The cuisine.
Yeah,
Yeah, I get it wrong every
it's
time.
okay.
Food, okay, stuff like that. So this is stories of people of our their heritage, their stories, their love, and all that in one book.
Hmm.
Is that correct? You know, and it's St.
Absolutely.
Louis
And
women.
um, the women that I interviewed, some I had known before, some I hadn't, and they started to share profound stories about their history with either quilting, cooking, or even both. Because one person in chapter one, Linda Jones, she talked about her grandmother's quilt that she still owns, and there's pictures of that in there. But Linda herself is a well-known author and artist, and so sharing these stories, because all the stories for me talked about the love that people have for each other and their neighbors and their family, and how quilting and fabric art and cuisine, the history, our history of celebrating one another and loving on one another through food, and putting those stories together. And my other hat that I wear is as an academic and a researcher, and so I wanted to put these into the annals of history, these stories, so that
Mhm.
if later on people want to share these stories for their family, that it's written down and it's now with the Library of Congress.
Wow.
So I want these stories to go forward for people, because that's a passion of mine, creating and documenting stories about Black people.
Wow, I love that. I mean, I have not. I'm going to be there. I just find this exciting. I do, because that's. I mean, it's about legacy to me.
Absolutely.
It's about all about legacy. We wouldn't know anything if we didn't have someone to pour into us and tell us different things. The handing down. Make it always here forever. That you never go. They never go anywhere. It's there. It's in the book. It's
One
right
of the families in the book tells their story about their great grandmother, who was no great great grandmother, who was actually auctioned off at the courthouse here in St. Louis, and she was a seamstress, and she was the one who initially started them on their whole family legacy of quilting, and they've got all of these documents, and so we put those into the book so that now they're again a part of history that they can share and celebrate.
Wow, that's exciting. Okay, well, let's go on and get to. Woo, that's exciting. Okay, so you guys really need to be into. I start getting all excited, like I want to go today, but I'm gonna have to wait until Monday, September the 9th. It's at the Left Bank Books in St. Louis, Missouri,
Mm-hmm.
and you guys can come there. It's gonna be what, a lunch party, a
Yep.
quilt display, and a presentation. And like you said, I love the way you said it's an in-store and online event. Okay, so RSVP. I already went there. I didn't have time to do it, but you actually do RSVP through a Google form. Let them know how many people coming so they can make sure they accommodate. And please, please, please order your book. Okay, it's left-bank.com. So tell us what we can expect to see outside of. I see the quilt display and the presentation. What's going to be happening?
Well,
Get
I will do a
it.
brief PowerPoint display to talk
Mhm.
about the history of how the book came about and what we went through, because this book was started right at the beginning of the pandemic,
Oh,
and it's been a whole story and process, and how the universe I created didn't allow me to lose phone numbers, documents, or anything during all this time. And the
right.
women who are in the book will be at the book opening. They'll be there with their quilts, and some sharing stories about their food and things like that. So my hat is off to Chris at Left Bank Books, the owner, how she's just embraced this book and done everything to push it forward. So I'm encouraging people, even though it will be available through other outlets, I would encourage people to order their book through Left Bank Books.
Wow. I'm excited. I'm gonna do it. Okay. All right. So we got something else. She just a busy bee here. So she got something else coming up. I'm ready for that one too. What's the next slide? This the big one here. Now
Oh yeah.
I do know, with or without glasses, age, young, whatever, you can't see everything on there, right? So therefore, that's why Miss Paulette is gonna tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Okay, A Future with Hope, Aging Well in the New Era of Longevity is a 2-day conference that's going to take place at St. Louis University. I partnered with the African American Studies Department as our host, and other organizations, everybody from Barnes Siteman Clinic and other organizations like Dedicated Health are coming on board to help us have fun and celebrate aging, but gaining new knowledge.
Ah,
The speakers will be talking about all kinds of different topics, including caregiving, information about AI, the fact that self care is more than bubble baths and manicures. But one of the speakers you see there in the middle, Elizabeth White, is
okay.
going to be talking about a movement that she's a part of. There's a global movement called New Age called co-living, and
Oh,
what it does is explores new options for people to age in place rather than being put in those big box places for seniors,
I know.
but new opportunities. And so she's coming here to talk about that and things that people can do. And the speakers are just absolutely phenomenal. The day starts off on October 29th
That's right.
with a opening book launch for another book,
Okay.
uh, a future with hope, Black women's wisdom on aging well. And these sisters have written
Oh,
some information
wow.
down. Imagine 18 women writing different chapters. about things that, their experiences in life, and things that can be informative, not just for women who are in the older, our senior, our seasoned older adults, but women who are in their 30s and 40s. So you know what to start looking at in your life, and those things that are important for us aging. And everybody that registers for the conference will get a free copy of that book.
Wow.
That evening, we're going to have a African jazz banquet, and
Wow.
Elizabeth will be speaking that night. And the great thing is the Missouri chapter of the National Association of Social Workers has certified this conference that social workers can get up to 4 clock hours.
What?
And I based it on
That's amazing.
on the DEI requirements for your licensure renewal for social work. So you can get up to 4 clock hours for this conference. And the conference can be found on Eventbrite. But they can also contact me at agingwellrenaissance@gmail.com and register directly to me. And then they don't pay that Eventbrite fee. So
I was just going to ask that. I'm like, okay, so how do we do this?
Yeah,
this is sounding really good.
Yeah, and it's 2 days. So the second day is workshops. We're gonna have an opening celebration with lots of fun. People are gonna be getting all kind of free gifts. It's just gonna be a wonderful day, and find out about the resources that are available in the community, because there's so many things out here where people can be having modifications done to their homes and things like that through grants. There's a lot of resources out here specifically for people who are aging well. And if you work with people who are older, there's information out there for you.
Exactly.
So you can see what's available and have resources for your people.
Sounds good.
And it's open to all folks.
Huh?
It's open to all folks.
Okay. I mean, I'm excited about that too. I'm just getting a little bit too excited here, but I know that. Okay. What you say? You don't get out much. Okay, I don't know, but I'm excited about this too, and I'm going to put this back up because our time. I'm gonna move this to this one right here. So I want to make sure that you make sure that you RSVP.
Yes.
Make sure that you go there and get your book and get ready. And I'm sure that Paulette is going to have probably some more information if you go to email her. Email her to find out more about everything that she's doing, okay? Because it's just too much in 15 minutes to get all up, okay? Because I'm like, oh my, but is there anything that you want to say in the last few seconds together?
Yes. I'm recruiting people to participate in my next book, and this is on Missouri fabric artists, quilters.
Oh my God! Here's another one.
Oh okay, yeah, I started interviews in September. Phenomenal black man artist who's a quilter who's got an exhibit opening at the Contemporary Art Museum next week. Basil Kincaid is one of the people signed on for the book. But I'm looking for quilters from all over the state of Missouri, black quilters, men and women. They can reach me at the same email address. And it's really important that, I find people. I'm not looking for people who are making the best quilt. I want your story. I want your story about you and quilting. So thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate you. I mean, hey, she loaded. That's all I can say. She just loaded. She came loaded like tat, like an AK-47. She didn't let it go.
This is what you do when you retire.
Okay. You just be everywhere. Okay. But anyway, thank you so much for coming on, Paulette. I appreciate you. And hey, guys. Not a problem. Too excited. If you guys want to come on Snapshot just like she did, you can be like Paulette. Okay. There's my information right there. You can give me a call. So until next time, look, you guys go and have a good day on purpose. Take care. Bye-bye, Paulette.
Bye-bye. Thank you.